He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Want to know what's good to watch at the movies, or conversely, what you should avoid? Every Friday on Afternoons with me, Jesse Mulligan, our critic tells us what's hot and what's not in the world of cinema. Take a listen for the latest on new releases, behind-the-scenes dramas and scoops from directors with critic Kate Rodger. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for asking.
Did you know about this waiata that had shown up in the Ryan Gosling film?
Well, I could kind of put my head on the chopping block and confess to a shocking kind of non-revelation. When I first saw this film ahead of when I had to interview Ryan and also the directors for this film, so I had a screening a little while ago.
Sorry to force you to recount the time that you interviewed Ryan Gosling.
I know. I'm sorry. You did force it out of me.
You were reluctant to say that on air again.
I did. I know. I interviewed Ryan Gosling just a couple of weeks ago. And when I heard the song, and it is at a beautiful, pivotal moment, and you'll know this when you go and see the film at the weekend with your family, Jesse, as you promised that you would. And I immediately thought to myself, I was born in Fiji, and one of those songs that really, really gets me is Isolé. And for some reason, I just had this completely menopausal woman disconnect, and I thought, is that Isolé? And I was sitting in the cinema talking to myself going, was that Isolé? And then typically menopausally completely forgot that I'd had that reaction, but went home eventually, and I Googled the soundtrack, and it hadn't gone up onto the interweb at that point.
Yeah.
And then it just completely went out of my mind. And it was so beautiful and so intensely familiar. And now that I'm hearing it takes sitting in a New Zealand audience, doesn't it? And the emotional experiences that people are having watching it, to a film that has taken over the planet and is such a warm hug of a film and is getting such an emotional reaction. It's just an extra layer of joyousness for New Zealand audiences.
Nice.
And I love it. I loved your interview as well. And also that incredible text. I mean, there'll be so many incredibly important kind of parts of that song that go back generations of whānau, and I just think it's glorious.
Yeah. Well, we love having you in to tell us what you've been watching. So I actually interviewed a couple of the stars of No Tears on the Field. For people who missed that interview, what's the premise of this New Zealand film?
And I think you did Maddie and Kate, didn't you? And they're just absolutely glorious women that are part of this documentary, which was shot down in my old hometown of Taranaki, Nakihard, by, as you know, Lisa Bird, the New Zealand documentarian. And she followed them from a couple of years, but it's kind of a season in grassroots rugby for women. And it's not just about the rugby. It is, of course, about the rugby because, as you will know from interviewing those two women, they love the sport. They love just running onto that pitch. It's important to them. I mean, they strive to be the best that they can, and you know they get better and better and better and go up in the ranks. And we're obviously seeing women's rugby at a point now where it's just a glorious thing to watch. So that's a huge aspect of it. But as your listeners would have heard if they tuned into the interview, which of course you did because you're always listening to Jesse Mulligan like me, you'll get a full understanding of how it fitted in with who they were and what they had going on outside of rugby, but that fed into it and where their family situations were. And Kate, you know, getting up at Sparrow's Fart in the morning to go to the milking shed and then just chucking her rugby kit on and running off to training. Yeah. But also,
I think she quite enjoys the company of a rugby team when you're
different herd,
milking cows.
Yeah, different herd. Absolutely, the social aspect of it and what it feeds into. But I don't know, just wahine getting together. I mean, I love it when a whole lot of women get together. But imagine it on a rugby field. Watching it on the big screen was a joy because it elevates that story. And it is one of those things that has so much reach. I would experience it in a different way being a city slicker, but it will appeal all across the board, up and down the country, big towns and small. And I just thought it had an edginess to it that felt like I'm not disrespecting the filmmaking, but it had a homemade kind of aspect to it, you know, which I think fed into it.
She filmed it for something like 2 years, so she's not going to have like the full film crew and lighting for all that time.
No.
Right? Sometimes it's going to be just pick up a camera, maybe pick up a phone and
100%. And that's what you will say when you watch it. It hasn't had like a full magical $1 million colour grading. You can see the different camera techniques and things. So, but you know, that for me, was part and parcel. It's charming. It's one of those, when you have a story that you think, this is a little window that belongs in the lexicon of New Zealand film, because it's important. Like Tēnā, My Name is Pāti, we have two really strong documentaries that people are going to see in the cinema, as opposed to it being sort of on the telly with a gazillion other things to stream. So I really recommend it.
Yes, No Tears on the Field, that one. And tell me about If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
I am so glad that I watched this, and you made me watch it because I got home after being out last night, and I decided at 10 o'clock last night to sit down and watch this film. And it's Roseburn. It's still showing in select cinemas, but you can also buy it and rent it on Apple and all the usuals. And I'd been wanting to watch it through Oscar season, but just didn't manage to get there because Roseburn, Australian, was nominated for an Oscar. So I wanted to get a real sense of whether she belonged in that list, and goodness gracious me. Do you know what? We talk about No Tears on the Field. You've also got Goat. You've got Hoppers right now in cinemas for the kids. Project Hail Mary, which is for absolutely everybody. And then you have a film like this, which is, it was such a hard watch, Jessie. And I'm going to speak very specifically. I know I'm in the presence of an awesome father, but this is a film that will mainline into the heart of mothers. I remember, because I had quite a visceral reaction to watching it. It's essentially Rose Byrne. She is having, her life is just one crisis lurching from one to another. She has a very sick child. The child has a tube attached to her stomach and is attached to a whole lot of machines, but she's still slightly mobile. She's running from appointment to appointment. And also then suddenly the house starts leaking and the entire ceiling falls in. They've got to move into a hotel while that gets fixed. The husband is absent off somewhere else doing something else. She's working full-time as a therapist, trying to get to medical appointments. Do you get the sense it's just really stressful? Yeah. And everybody wants something from Rose. Every single person needs her, including all of these people that she's giving therapy to who go far beyond the therapist's room. And everything is unravelling. And the fascinating thing is that this entire time, the child you only hear and see parts of, like a toe or a foot. You never meet the child. But the child is always there. I think it's fascinating, but you hear it, and it's almost being a parent because she's driving. You can hear the child in the back seat. I remember driving off the motorway off to work. Mac, my child was young. He was sick. I was kind of on my own. It was a stressful day. I was running into work, and I remember kind of pulling off the motorway at relative speed, getting to the traffic lights, and I thought, do you know what would just be so great right now, Jessie? Just a gentle enough nose to tail that I just needed to be in hospital for a week. I mean, that's a terrible thing to confess on national radio, but all I wanted
that's so lovely.
Was a break. Everything I was hanging on by my fingernails. And I think so many, particularly so many mothers, feel this so viscerally. And I felt this watching this film. It's an extreme version of this, obviously, but that's what it was trying to portray. And her reactions to it were unlikable. The way that she sought to escape what was happening was unlikable. And I felt myself...
But who among us is likeable throughout our parenting?
I like to think I'm 100% likeable through life, but I was not, and she most certainly isn't. So I felt myself sort of gripping because I was like judging her and then hating myself for judging her, knowing that we all experience that. It was absolutely fascinating to watch. It's a hard film to watch, and her experience of playing that must have just been crippling. But also the filmmaking techniques were just, I think, amazing and fed so beautifully into it. So
where does Conan O'Brien fit in?
He's the therapist that works down the hall, and she gets therapy from him. Not successfully either. And I have a fascinating dynamic. It's honestly, you would have to brace yourself to watch it. But I formatively feel it's one of those films that's going to stick to little bits of me inside me, because it's those extremes of and the unlikability. There is not a moment of joy in this film. It's the total antithesis to Project Hail Mary. In fact, you could watch this and then immediately go to the cinema and watch Ryan and Rocky.
To cleanse yourself.
Yeah, just to cleanse yourself. But at the same time...
It must have something
No, I'm painting this in a way
uplifting.
that nobody listening is going to want to watch it. This is where cinema and storytelling is so important to us as humans because they can't all be a good time. And storytelling has the ability to formatively reflect ourselves back at each other and look at how we behave and how we interact. And in so many ways, and this film with a little bit of therapy in it, there's an element of that which I think is so, so, so important. And so I know I'm not selling this film and you're going to go and spend $20 watching it or $7 renting it. It is it is an experience, but for me, I don't know. It's something I kind of needed. I felt to see, and also to see a performance from just a phenomenal actor that can be in Bridesmaids in 1 second. I know, and just her
Have
range.
you watched her with Seth Rogen
Yes,
in Platonic? She's
Platonic.
so funny in that.
She has got comedy chops, but you will watch her in this and you will just go, what is even happening? So
Yeah, that's great. And it's called
great. It's called
If I Had Legs, I'd Kick
And
You.
I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I just watched the film and I'm still trying to work out where it kind of comes from as an analogy, but I'll figure it out.
Do you know, while you were talking, you reminded me of a brilliant film I haven't thought about for a while on the kind of like the busy mum, sick kid theme, As Good as It Gets.
I love that film so
I
much.
love that film.
I know.
I could watch that film over and over.
I know. Isn't that funny how you have those comfort
That
films?
and Good Will Hunting, which I reckon must have been around the same time.
Yeah, they were. I think they were a similar release.
Both
Good Will
the
Hunting. It's just one of those. I mean, snippets of it will always pop up on my feeds, my
me
weird
too,
algorithm, and
me
you
too.
look at it and you just, and also, of course, the gloriousness of Robin Williams, and you just go, do you know? And actually, that's on I have a list of films that my poor child has to watch with me.
Yeah.
Tell you what we watched last week.
Yeah.
Point Break.
Oh, great.
Perfect for a 13-year-old. I know it's R16, don't
Yeah.
judge me. And he was like, I don't want to watch it. And then at the end, he was just,
There's
you
a
know.
bit of language in Good Will Hunting. I'm not quite sure if that's quite ready for my kids yet. We were wondering if Dirty Dancing might be ready for them yet.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Hazel.
No. What do you think? Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah, just no reason. Just make them watch Point Break instead. Do you know what I say, Jesse? I'm certainly not going to give out parenting tips for you. But my theory with Max is I drive, I cook, I earn a living, I swear.
Yeah.
He doesn't do any of those things.
Yeah.
He's not allowed. So he can hear swearing, but he's not allowed to use it himself.
When you're bringing the income into the household, then you're allowed to swear too.
All day, all day, ref.
I think
So
that's
kind of
that's
my
fine. Got
that's
it,
my
got it.
approach. But you do you.
Hey, brilliant work. Great review. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kate Rodger, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which no one's going to see. Even though she's recommending it. And no tears on the field.
I'm sorry.